Hi there and welcome to Indie Treasures on Get Indie Gaming. This series uncovers hidden gems of the indie gaming world that you probably haven't played. From survival games to platformers, puzzlers to RPGs. This series will have them all. Up first, and in no particular order, the Sexy Brutale came out in April of 2017, and still in early 2023, the game's time manipulation mechanic feels as fresh as it did come its initial release. You take on the role of an elderly priest who wakes up in a mansion on the day of a masquerade party. Sounds fun? Well, perhaps not so much, as you find the guests are all being murdered one by one, with you needing to find a way to stop these gruesome killings by exploring the mansion and solving a number of puzzles along the way. One of the most enjoyable parts of the Sexy Brutale, as I mentioned a little earlier, is the delicious use of a time loop mechanic, which has the player relive the same day over and over. You're able to watch the staff and the guests of the mansion go about their business, all the while collecting information and skills you can use with each iteration of the day. It's this stealthy exploration and the way the game rewards you for doing so which has made me come back to this one many times since its release. The game's clearly inspired by the imagery and storytelling of classic murder mystery films and novels, with the atmospheric visuals and soundtrack delivering something here that's eerie and yet compelling enough to keep you going forward. There's plenty of side objectives too, meaning it's worth the while to see as much of the mansion as you possibly can. The ending when it comes is a surprise and a fine little twist, although if you're picking this one up for the first time, please do try and avoid seeing any spoilers. The Sexy Brutale is available on PC, the Switch, Xbox and PlayStation platforms. Up next, and currently with fewer than 50 reviews on its Steam homepage, we have the exquisitely looking The Last Birdling, which came out on PC on the last day of August 2017. Developed and published by Invert Mouse, this visual novel explores the relationship between one of the last of the Birdling tribes and a human child in what's an improbable and forbidden friendship. What drew me to this as I was scrolling through the Steam homepage was undoubtedly its art direction, with it being one of the standout features of the game. The hand-drawn stylings here, together with the characters and environment, are all superbly detailed, giving it a highly polished and distinctive look. I also admire the use of the colour palette with its melancholic tones, offering an atmosphere that fits well with the overall tone of the story. The story itself really does have an impact, and it takes a turn for the dark towards the end, although I'll not provide any further spoilers. The developer has been clever in the portrayal and exploration of the characters. You can readily palpitate their thoughts, feelings and motivations, with the game leaving a long-lasting impact on the players. The audio also works a treat here, with it adding yet more and more layers of ambience and atmosphere. It's rather short and likely to take you between 3 and 5 hours to play, although given its visuals and emotional nature of the story, it's a game I'd recommend to fans of visual novels and to anyone looking for an impactful, engaging experience. Up now, and something a viewer sent to me over my Twitter feed, which is @GetIndieGaming. Lulu's Temple popped out in May of last year and flew right past me until only a couple of weeks ago. Like the previous game, it doesn't seem to have grabbed too many people's attention, with fewer than 21 Steam reviews as this video goes to air, so here's hoping this picks up a little bit after this video. Lulu's Temple is best described as an action-adventure, where you play as an archaeologist having gotten stuck within an ancient pyramid, armed only with a shooter and a standard flaming torch to light the way. Damn though, this pyramid really is dark, and you need to, funnily enough, use the torch to guide your way about the place, while also using the fixed torch points you find while you explore. Now to me, this was a really rather challenging game, and in places, given how dark things are and navigation can be, well, it can be really difficult. That being said, the game's never silly with you, and if you follow, it treats the player with respect, and the puzzles when they come are enjoyable with just that little bit of lateral thinking needed to beat them. Now, as before, it is a relatively short game, coming in at around 90 minutes of playtime, with the ending being quite the fabulous boss fight, which in total honesty had me wanting more. I do hope there's a future expansion here, as Lulu's Temple is a real little nugget of a game I think many of you will love to play. It's out now on PC via Steam. We're headed back to 2017 with the Norwood Suite, a point-and-click adventure game developed by Cosmo D. The game is set in a fictional Norwood hotel, with you taking in the role of a guest who sets out to explore and find out what's going on with the hotel's secrets. It seems in this video I'm going heavy, well perhaps with the exception of the last game, on the visual aspect of things. The 2D visual style, when mixed with the game's music and sound, really helps to create a mythical and immersive world I just wanted to get out in and explore more of. Now, no point and clicker could be any good without a decent amount of puzzles for the player to solve, and the Norwood Suite doesn't disappoint. The puzzles can be challenging, although they do a great job of keeping you engaged and wanting to keep you moving forward with the rest of the story. Overall, it's well written, well paced. All of the characters you meet are also well sculpted, having their own styles and distinct personalities. Again, in keeping with many of the games in this video, it's relatively short, although given its unique looks, great puzzles, a fab story, and overall how it looks and sounds, the Norwood Suite is well worth checking into. And lastly for today's video, we go all the way back to a real classic and to the Last Door, which came out on PC all the way back when in 2013. While it's coming up to a decade out in the field, if you haven't played it, I do urge you to do so. It really should be considered one of the all-time classics of the horror adventure game genre. Aside from the story and the overall dark and eerie atmosphere, I want to touch upon what largely makes all of this possible, and yep, you've guessed it. That would be the game's first-rate pixel artwork. Just look at it. Look how magnificent all of this is. Long-term fans of the channel will know I love my pixel art. Hey, in the last year, I even went about building my own pixel art game, although that's something for another time. However, I didn't get anywhere near the level of detail or atmosphere that's at play with The Last Door. I really feel that what the developers at the Game Kitchen have been able to do is create a huge piece of art that's totally immersive. The game feels oppressive, and you can feel the references to Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe in this pixel up there on the screen. It's all magnificent and a wonderful place to end this first episode of my new Indie Treasures series. You can pick up The Last Door on the PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and the Nintendo Switch. Many thanks for joining me once again on this journey through some of the most underrated indie games out there. I hope you've discovered some new titles to add to your wish lists, or maybe even reignited your love for some older gems. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more indie game treasures in the future. Many thanks for watching.